figured out her settings. I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you are having a fantastic day, just say I'm blooming on the chats so I can see that everyone who's in the room is truly blooming and excited to be here with us. My name is Noktula Nox Magwaza for those who have not met me, but I don't think there's anyone in the room we have not connected with because it's predominantly the Bloom Inside Out community that has registered and come through for today's masterclass. It truly gives me such a pleasure, and I'm so privileged to be able to really just convene with phenomenal women, with blooming women, our team at Bloom Marketing, Bloom Infinite, and Bloom Inside Out, to talk about something that I'm so passionate about, and that is purpose. To talk about something that I think we should all be so fascinated and so consumed by because it is a reason for our being. It is a reason for us existing. I see on the chats only 6 ladies are blooming. Hi, I'm blooming. Makosi said, hi, I'm blooming. Sandra, the skyscraper. Hello from Joburg. Makosi Makamo, I saw you in at 11 o'clock. That was like, I was like, she does not want to miss this. That just
I'm
excites.
also blooming.
I'm hoping my team is going to type that they are also blooming. It's really, really awesome. Sane Ndwalane, also a coach in the South Coast. Noxolo Mahlaba, so good to see you all just coming in. Simi, check your network. I have admitted you. Who are you talking to? That's lovely. Yeah, so welcome. I see Lindelwa, I see Segela, blooming community for the enterprise development with RCL Foods. Truly, this is exciting, and I'm hoping that you'll find it just as valuable as we found preparing for it, as we found living what we are sharing here. What I love the most is that this is not a webinar where we are sharing theory. This is not a webinar where we are taking snippets from some people's books. It is a webinar where the speakers, including myself, we've lived and we continue to lead with purpose, with grace and alignment in our lives. And we truly feel that it is something that we should be gifting to every woman. We should be inviting every woman to go on this journey of, yes, you've been inspired, but have you reflected about your life? What your life stands for, your biggest and your grandest reason for you to be in this world. And do you feel aligned in your life? And there will be those moments right now where you will obviously engage with Laura, and you will figure out exactly what does it mean to live aligned and live misaligned. And then the action that you will ultimately hope that you take at the end of the webinar. And it's an action that calls for you to invest time, like you are here today, invest time to reflect, to journal, to spend time with yourself, to really do what seeds will do before they flourish. Every one of us, I truly believe, is a seed. Every one of us is a good seed. And every one of us in that seed holds immense potential. Potential that you are responsible to bring into realization in this world. And I start the Leading with Purpose webinar today having reflected on the journey of purpose and leadership for me. I did the work of leading with purpose in the 20s while I was working in corporate. I did the work because I felt the pain of living out of purpose or misaligned. I felt the pain of anxiety. I felt the pain of fear consistently gripping me while I was a leader and a manager in Unilever. And I started asking myself the question, what am I afraid of? Why am I so anxious? What is it that is not working when it comes to my nervous system that I feel like I can't take a deep breath and just feel grounded and show up in my biggest, grandest fullness of who I truly am? And when I started doing the work, oh, I've not stopped sharing the nuggets, the insights, the lessons of how I arrived at living and leading my life with purpose. I also went through a huge, I say huge because there's levels of pain. I went through pain, the kind of pain that often, as women, our hearts are shattered into pieces where someone that you thought you would marry and do life with lets you down, and there's a serious heartbreak. At that point in time, you are engaged and you're holding a baby. That pain and the anxiety that I was feeling in my mid 20s, I didn't take a slow motion, like leisurely, oh, I'll just do this purpose work. Oh, I'll just journey within when it allows me. I needed it for survival. I needed it like taking breath. Now, I don't know where you are in your journey of purpose, whether you are at discovery stage or you are now aware what your purpose in this life is, but you've done nothing to develop it. You've done nothing to refine it. You've done nothing to articulate it. You've done nothing to deploy it. And you constantly are now frustrated. When you know what your purpose is, there's a frustration that is painful in your life. And so I want to start today by saying, if you really want to do this journey of knowing who you truly are, you have to ask the question we were asked in grade one. If you remember the question and the assignment you first have when you start school, it's called Who Am I? And then you have to come and present in class. Who are you? In grade one, a self-awareness, a journey of identity, a journey of beginning to tell people your personalities and your quirks. I love this, I'm passionate about this. And even at that tender age, you're so pure. No one has said, oh, we're not interested in your passion. We're here to work. Siyasebenza lana, ome kancane siyasebenza. We're here to work. And nobody has said that in grade in 6 years, 7 years when you're starting school and your teacher says, do a program or do an assignment, tell us who you are. I am Noctula with brown hair, my eyes are brown, and you talk about your ears. At that point in time in grade six, you're talking about your features. You're talking about, I love my gap when I smile. You're talking about things that you see. And then somehow you also speak about my favorite food, my favorite moments with mom, what I love with my siblings. I'm the only girl. You're doing all this. Who am I? And this world, the corporate spaces we're in, the spaces where we are planted, the spaces where we are in spaces of influence, we are constantly being asked, who am I? Because if you don't know who you are, then you want to replicate, then you copy, then you compare, then you're looking at other people's journeys and you think that you are all running the same race, the same journey. Meanwhile, you're not. In our own uniqueness, it is so important to know that also our reason for being here is unique. And when you realize that everyone is on that journey of discovering the grandest reason why they exist, you will soon realize you have work to do instead of wondering, what is she doing? What are they doing? How far are they? Are they successful? Is it a lie? Is it a fluke? I had an interesting conversation with one of the blooming boss ladies who said to me, when you forget to look at your own garden and tend your own garden and nurture your own garden within you, you're so fascinated with other people's gardens, but you're not also fascinated in a good way where you are actually complimenting and saying, you are blooming great, bolder, and beautiful. You're not complimenting. You are interested for comparing. You are interested for negative talk. You're interested for pulling them down or even just gossip. Weed is growing in your own garden of your soul. Weed is growing in the garden of your heart. Weed is growing in your life because you are not tending and nurturing. The second level we're going to explore is, how do you lead? How do you lead in the spaces where you are currently planted? And for those who were here a little bit earlier, you remember we are seeds and you get planted in specific environments. You are planted in your family, that you didn't choose your family, you got planted in that family. You are planted in, Lucy is on screen painting, beautiful. You are planted in the garden, you are planted in corporate, you are planted in work, you are planted in your business, you are planted in your community. How do you lead in the spaces where you are planted? And that's where we will talk about leading with grace, with wonder. What am I building? How am I building? And when you are building, and burnout is the definition of your state of being, it is so painful because you lose the energy. You can't even think. You can't even process what you're going through. And then that's where Laura will step in and talk to us about leading in alignment, leading with alignment, and ensuring that how you work and how you show up is aligned to who you are, your true sense of being, and your nervous system can cope with that. So it creates a beautiful environment and a space. And I want to welcome everyone else that was not here at 12 to say welcome. It's a blooming great Friday. It's a blooming great day. And we are so honored and so excited that we are here with you. And I'd asked everyone to let me know if you are feeling good and excited about the webinar, to type on your chat, I'm blooming. I want to see the new ladies that joined us. Are you blooming? And you can say it in any way. You blooming bright, you blooming bold, you blooming beautiful, you blooming beautiful. And Wanda is on screen. What an amazing breakthrough. I love it that we have our partners as anchors supporting us with our technology. I love it for you, girl.
Oh my gosh.
She's
Afternoon,
here.
ladies. Apologies.
Good afternoon and warm welcome. My heart, I've been holding the room, introducing what it means to lead with purpose and to live with purpose. So I'm honored only to everybody to be here. So I just want to also see by I want to think which way to do it. Have you been introduced to Bloom Inside Out? Do you know what Bloom Inside Out, what this platform is about? And I just want to see if there's any comments that says, no, I don't know. I don't know what Bloom Inside Out is about. And I'll just spend 5 minutes, probably 2 minute tops, to talk you through what Bloom Inside Out is about. So let me check the chat boxes and see if there are any responses. I'm blooming gracefully. I love it, Tabisa. I'm blooming. Looking forward to today's session, said Snetlanta. Joined the community yesterday. That's incredible. Welcome. There's so many ladies that are still coming in. And excited to be here with all of you. So if you don't know what Bloom Inside Out is about, I will just take away our holding screen. Hopefully I'll be able to do the juggle without distracting the flow of the meeting. But I do want to share what Bloom Inside Out is about. Now that we have probably, I think we have about 50% of the registrants in the room, I can also quickly just say, welcome, Laura, all the way from the beautiful, fairest Cape Town. How are you blooming this morning, afternoon?
Hello, Knox. It's so lovely to see you and to meet your amazing community. I know there's a lot of people on here that are from your community, and you and I have been working together quite a bit in these last few months. But I've heard a lot about your community, but I haven't interacted with them yet. So I'm very excited to be here, and thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Laura. Thank you so much. How's Cape Town weather today?
It's there's sun, but there's a bit of a nip in the air. Not as
Ah.
cold as Natal, though, I'm told. There's no snow on the mountains here.
Yeah, no, Durban is not as bad. Hillcrest is also bearable.
Uh,
Wanda, welcome. Are you
Yes,
able to unmute yourself?
yes. I am
I
finally
just,
here.
I love it. I just want you to greet the ladies and tell us how you are blooming today.
Sure, I am blooming from a place of nervousness, but also so much excitement. So excited to be with you, with everybody today. So much is
Lovely.
happening in my life this week, but I'll obviously share a bit more when we talk, when I'm up. And I'm blooming from a place of a grateful heart. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So, for those in the room who don't know Bloom Inside Out, I will be very quick. Like, I'm literally gonna like scroll through what Bloom Inside Out is about. Our positioning statement is unlocking the power and potential of women to prosper in life. And this is really because of the background of gender inequality It's about what we talk about when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusivity. It's about really being able to do the kind of work that shifts women forward and upwards and positions women in rooms and spaces that we can say truly we are moving the needle forward when it comes to diversity. Some of the ladies in the room are in these collages of pictures. And so we have about 4 pillars to bloom inside out. And we, in those 4 pillars, it's events that are either online or in person. And you can see they are always themed to the beautiful roses, flowers, all kinds of flowers that you can think of in our uniqueness, that we show up and we show up to bloom bright, bold, and beautiful in the spaces that we occupy. So, here to empower women to unlock their full power and potential is what we do. I founded the platform, an incredible team, Simi, Lauren, Luyanda, Busi, they're here around me today. And this is what we do alongside the marketing agency that we run, Bloom Marketing and Bloom Infinite. So you can call Bloom Inside Out our CSI, our corporate social responsibility, our business purpose work, and we thrive and enjoy doing this. And it just starts with that grand why. So purpose is in the core of why Bloom Inside Out actually exists, which is why the second half of the year, when we talk leading with purpose, it just lights us up. The dream of a brighter future. No one's light should ever be dimmed. No one should lose hope. No one should shrink and feel small. No one should ever feel irrelevant and unworthy in this world. I believe that all of us are here for a significant reason. Every woman, every woman, it is our number one role, our responsibility to unlock and to fulfill the potential of the seed that we are. We ought to live with purpose. We ought to impact this world positively. I love how, I think it was Beyonce, we're here to dent this world. Where would you love to dent this world so that we can say she lived? I was here. I lived. I'm getting goosebumps as I sing that song. I'm not even singing it, I'm saying it. I was here, I lived, and I dented this world. So we all have a responsibility and an assignment to positively impact this world so that we can benefit, for all of us to benefit from the current and the future generation. And you can see from the 2 keynote speakers that we've invited today, what I love about their journeys is that there's so many questions I get asked when you talk about purpose. Do I have to resign from work to lead with purpose? Do I have to? No. Wanda is a senior executive, a GM at BP. Yeah. She runs her full on energy space and mobility at BP, a huge corporate. And here she is. She's just kicked off her Leading with Grace and Leading with Purpose journey, which she'll talk to us about. Laura has been in corporate. Laura has been an entrepreneur, and she will tell you her story. A full circle. She's back to being an entrepreneur, but she's aligned. So what I love about that is that the timing of your purpose does not depend on anyone else's journey and timelines. You run your race at your pace, and the journey within, again, at your pace. When it does eventually, that light bulb, when you just get lit in your soul, no one can stop you. So I'm just going to move forward fast. We align ourselves with the Women Entrepreneurship Day organization, which was founded in the United States. So when you see that logo in all the work that we do, it's a global entity and it is aligned 100% to what we also stand for: inspire, equip, and celebrate women around the world, all towards sustainable development goal number 1 and 5. No poverty when women are around, and the gender equality. So those two are the core of where we are. And we've been featured, we've partnered, and we're excited to announce new partnership today. We'll tell you later. Featured on radio, on media, all around. Didn't even put all the logos, which has just been so exciting. And also the media that has featured us as Bloom Inside Out often comes back to ask us, which of the Blooming Boss ladies can we feature? Gagasi FM has been so amazing in that space. And just when it's Women's Month, they will go out and make sure that the Blooming Boss ladies get the profile they need to show the work they're doing. So the Bio Connects are quickly masterclasses online that also become in-person events. Coaching, we offer coaching one-on-one or a group of ladies or a company, whether it's Juke CE, corporate education. We've got a collection of scented candles, journals, and coffee mugs that have positive affirmations that are all driven by the content we share in the Bloom, in the BioConnect. The community was because the ladies asked. Every quarter we have these connects, but when we are not connected with Bloom Inside Out, we feel like we don't have the inspiration, the drive. And so once a week we share the themed content that actually inspires women. And that is at a cost of a cappuccino a day if you visit our Bloom Inside Out space and join the community to see what we are doing within the community. So without further delay, I want to just shoot straight, and I will ask Simi to also share this profile on the comments. So while you're also tuned in, you can download the profile for yourself. The next thing that I will share is also a document that we have prepared for you that will help you in your journey towards discovering your purpose. Because today, there's just not enough time. There's not enough time for us to be in this room and do the work that is needed for you to do. Now, I will give you maybe a snippet of what it takes in your journey of discovering your purpose. You need to be planted like a seed. And when you are planted, you are in the dark, you are in soil. You often probably grappling with things that you feel like, I have to let go of these things, because the seed means you are in the dirt, on the ground, dark, solitude on your own. Often we celebrate each other when it's Women's Month on things that you see above ground, and we never realize how much work was happening beneath the ground. So this document, which Simi will post and put for you to download on the comments, will allow you to do the introspective work, will allow you to do the reflective work, and you're going to need a journal where you're going to scribble. If you prefer that you have ChatGPT record you, you can do that, because some people, when it's time to write, the brain stops thinking. When it's time to say something, the heart also stops feeling. So we've now got options of how to express ourselves when we do the reflective work. The seed you are is going to need that watering. And that's what the Bloom Inside Out community is for. Before you know it, you'll take root and you will just see that flourishing or bloom coming out of the ground. It's going to need sunlight. That's where the inspiration at Bloom Inside Out comes from. The sunlight, the water, the space you share with other women. I love it that we positively infect each other with our pollens, and we are growing and we are feeding from the community. And you see this garden of beautiful boss ladies that are blooming all over South Africa. So this documentation is something that you can do on your own. But what it does for you is that it gives you the steps that are in the lead with purpose journey, from the discovery to development to deployment. It will ask you, what is your understanding of purpose? And you will share that with us here in the comments, or you can share it, in your own journal. Give us that understanding. A lot of people know it is the reason why I exist. It's a reason something is created. It's a reason you were created. You came about. A 1 in a billion, when those sperms were swimming, you made it. A 1 in a billion phenomena. That's how incredibly powerful you are and unique, and for a reason you are here. It's going to ask you, are you happy, fulfilled, and content currently in your life, in your career, in your business? How would you introduce yourself is the favorite question without using the title of I'm a GM at BP. I'm the founder of Bloom Marketing. I'm the founder of Seaware Consulting. Without titles, strip it all. Because you were founded and you were created without those titles. And there's a wave that is happening that we see women's power and potential showing up at work with confidence and secure in their skin and who they are, content in who they are, because they found their identity away from work. Now, that if you're not catching, that is a reason why you've got to discover your purpose. You can't rely on affirmations at work and hope that your leader, sometimes your leader doesn't want you to go up. Sometimes the very same people who are your peers are bringing you down. Sometimes the environment is not so good, it's so toxic. You need to nurture your thriving, the confidence, the contentment outside the definition of that title because titles change, because people get retrenched, because companies collapse. What happens when the CEO of ABSA is no longer the CEO of ABSA? Who are you without the title? And so I will leave it at that point. That's the only reflection. And if you care to share with us on the comments, who do you say you are without using your title? I'm the daughter of the Most High God. I was born to bloom. That I know, and I believe every woman was born to bloom. And I show up every day to help women unlock their power and potential to prosper. I show up every day to ensure that all of us can find that meaning and live our lives lit up from within us, where we are just radiant. And it does not have to be radiance because things are working. The world is going through so much turmoil. You've got to radiate from within you because out here, things are just going crazy. And so as you are going through the reflections of this document, noting your passions, noting your values, what are your guardrails? What determines how you show up? And this will be our guest speaker's turf now. I'm so happy that I don't have to do the full leading with purpose that I usually do. Do you know your best foot? When they say put your best foot forward, what are your naturally gifted strengths, abilities? Mina, I'm a yepa. I know that I was given the gift of the gap. I speak, but I made a conscious decision. If I am to speak, it must be speak life into other people's lives. I do not want to speak ill of others. I do not want to be caught in gossips. I don't want to be caught in speaking negatively about another woman. I'm intentional about how I use my gift. And that's what leading with purpose will help you do in life. Go back and reflect. Childhood dreams. What did you enjoy to do? What did you get lost in doing? Give yourself the permission to do those things again. Don't wait until you're 60 and you're retired. You can do them every day. Schedule them in. Do those things. I love convening women. I love being with women. And that also tells you that I'm the only girl at home, a last born. I did not have company of girls. So every woman, me, I'll be like, girlfriend, girlfriend. Like we are blooming tribe. I see tribe when I see women. It doesn't help that I was born on the 9th of August. So when I'm all over you, like on a girly, you must know it's just so in me, I can't help it, guys. That's just the structure of who I am. And so find out all of those things about yourself and enjoy. It's got notes for you. You can share it with your loved ones, your little ones, and it's got my contact details and we can connect, especially those who are not yet part of Bloom Inside Out. And that is my intro. And with that intro, I'm so excited to hear how we lead in the workplace, how we lead with alignment, how we lead with grace. So excited. So with us in the audience, I'm going to let them introduce themselves well, but I've already given you snippets. So I want to start with this amazing lady. I've received a book.
I'm so excited you got it.
I've received Leading with Grace, which is a child born by this amazing woman, Nogwanda. And I'm privileged to be in page 5051 of a leadership book that pulls together leadership lessons and journeys of women, 32 incredible women around South Africa. 13 of them hail from KZN. Boo, boo,
Yes.
boo. The Zulu girls. And they're all in different spaces in life, and she'll tell you all about it. She'll tell you the purpose behind this purpose work. She'll tell you why she got here. And there's a story that goes back to us being in corporate, young and innocent as managers at Unilever, that just
Yeah.
tears to my eyes. And without further delay, I want to introduce Nokwanda Kumalo Umambanjwa, who is the GM of BP and the founder of Soul Speak Purpose Work and this anthology that she's launched. Wanda, the stage is yours.
What an introduction. I hope you can hear me clearly. I had to get my husband to help me. In fact, I'm using his computer. So because mine, I don't know what was going on. I am so excited to be here. Um,
Oh,
uh, what a community. I have followed this community. I've sort of jumped in and out of it, and I've followed
yeah.
this community for so many years. And to see what you've been able to do here in Knox is it's pretty incredible. Those of you who don't know me, my full name is Nogwanda, but those who are then in my inner circle, and I'm inviting you to be in my inner circle, I just go by Wanda. I am Mambandra. I hail from KZN. I was born in Pietermaritzburg, but work in life has brought me to Johannesburg. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a dreamer, I'm a creative. I love to do things with my hands. And then in my corporate life, I happen to lead a massive organization. I get the privilege to be the general manager at BP, looking after its retail service stations. We've got about 500 service stations across the country. So the buck stops with me. So I'm responsible for giving you security of supply and for you to have the ability to fill up your cars and to be mobile. That's what I do in my corporate world. And because, I don't know, I'm at the stage in life where I want to chase after every dream, I find myself also as an entrepreneur. So I'm a franchisee to the Camelot Spa Group. If any of you know it, it's a spa brand franchise group. I run two spas in Johannesburg. And then, purpose led me to a small business I started with my daughter about 18 months ago, and that's Soul Speak, and I'll get to that just now. I just want to see if I can share my screen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. And maybe, Simi, if you are online, I did share it with you on email. I might ask if you could help me with putting up that PDF that I shared, because hey, this is someone else's computer. I don't know if I'm going to win. Let me know if you can see. Oh, no.
Don't worry, don't panic. We'll
Yeah,
find
if you are
we'll
able
find
to
to
share it,
share it.
I sent
Yeah.
it to you and see. Yeah, but let me get to my discussion today. So when Knox invited me to come and talk about purpose, I really, what is my purpose as Nogwanda? And this is something that's taken me a while to get there. And as she was going through her introduction, I felt like she was actually speaking to me and speaking to my journey, because for many years, one has chased the titles, the accolades, and it's only really now that when I connect the dots backwards, I'm really getting closer to what purpose is for me. So what is my purpose? Sometimes we put so much pressure on this word purpose on ourselves, and you're trying to find this perfect answer, and we imagine it to be this one big thing at one big moment in time, some kind of grand calling, and it is for some people, but for some of us it's not. We imagine it to be a title, a big revelation for you, but my experience has been quite different. I've come to believe now that purpose is not always something that you find. Sometimes when you look back, you then start to realize it's been finding you all along, and maybe you weren't necessarily paying attention. So for me, I want to share a little bit of my story. If you can put it on full screen and maybe go to the second slide for me, and you can just click through all of them, see me, so the whole slide comes through. I'm going to take you into my confidence, ladies, and get a little bit vulnerable. And I think Knox planted the seed here, because where the story starts for me actually started at a point where I crossed paths with Knox when she was just leaving corporate, and I was sort of entering corporate before she started her entrepreneurship journey. So around 2007, you'll see just now when Simi puts it up, I can sort of trace the seeds for myself back then. About 19 years ago, I was sort of a young girl in my 20s. I was working at Unilever, but I had this young urge in me to try and connect with other women. I can't tell you why. I don't quite necessarily know where it was coming from. I was still trying to figure out myself, but I knew I wanted to learn from other women who had walked this corporate life or this path ahead of me, because I come from the township. I come from a place where I hadn't had a close relationship with someone who had been in corporate and sort of thrived. So I didn't have that sort of experience. And I wanted, now that I was in the system and trying to navigate it for myself, I wanted to connect with some women. So when the slide comes up, you'll see an email that I wrote it's the second one, if you don't mind. See, I wrote this email in 2007. And you can see that it's from myself, the 19th of September, 2007. I blocked out some of the other ladies just for privacy reasons of their email addresses, but Knox was there and probably about 7 other ladies were on the email. And I was inviting them. I wanted to start a network of some women, like-minded women, where we could gather together. And I was trying to create an intergenerational network. So some young ones, some with a little bit more experience, so we could learn from each other, maybe meet once a month, whether it was over a coffee, just to share our experiences and have a safe space where you feel you can share your story and be a little bit more vulnerable. You know, in the corporate world, sometimes you have to be sanitized, you have to be polished. But I was trying to create a space where we could just talk and just connect. I tried to sort of connect us, and you can see in this email at the bottom, I'd set the theme for the first meeting, and really it was around, what would you tell your younger self? And I was really directing that question at some of the older ladies who had walked this path. And I say older ladies, probably more experienced ladies who had now been in corporate for a couple of years. I sort of fumbled. I'm going to be honest, it didn't quite work. I fumbled, I didn't stay consistent, and it sort of fizzled. Life happened. A year later, 2008, still this thing was within me of wanting to connect with people. I then registered a nonprofit organization and I called it Black Vanity. I couldn't find the logo. I've been searching my emails, but I called it Black Vanity. And I'm a Zulu girl, as I've said, and vanity in Zulu, we say ukuziqhenya, you know, it's to love yourself, it's to take pride in yourself. And this NPO, I was trying to reach out particularly to young girls in high schools, in township high schools. I wanted to teach them about just loving yourself, caring for yourself. Don't get mixed up in the streets with boys, find yourself teenage pregnancies, drugs. I was trying to teach them, you know, don't peak too early in high school and feel like you're cool. When you get to the real world, the fact that you're popular in high school actually means nothing. I was also trying to demonstrate to them that I have come from an environment that you are in. So when you look at me, see a mirror of what could be possible. I haven't arrived, but at least I'm starting my journey. I remember I just bought my first car, 2008, a little Peugeot 208. I loved that car. And I truly felt like, yeah, no, you know, I'm starting to build something of my life. And I wanted to be a little bit of a mirror and a small spark of inspiration to young girls who are in high school, in that teenage phase when the hormones are going crazy, just to tell them, just focus, just stick to your books, focus, get through school, don't get distracted with the streets. And me and my friends came together with this NPO. It was sort of like an outreach. We were just going to schools, talking to young girls really in the township. Then life happened. Around this time as well, I had my first child. Life happened, life got busy. The NPO didn't necessarily do too much work beyond about 18, 24 months. Fast forward, 2013. I'm now sort of more settled in corporate. I remember I was 30 years old in 2013, and I was working for South African breweries at the time. I'm now a middle manager at work. I've got a team, a small team. I'm starting to learn this navigating leadership thing. What does it mean? And for some reason, and I cannot tell you why, in 2013, I wrote a letter to myself, writing a letter to my 40-year-old self. So you see the letter, and my birthday is the 10th of June, and I wrote it on my birthday. I write, it's the 10th of June, 2023. No wonder is 40 years old. She is a well-renowned speaker. She's an author. She's a facilitator, a voiceover artist, a mother of 2. She's strong. She's courageous. She lives a life. She lives a full and fulfilling life. She has credibility in her industry, and she's an expert in public speaking, and she has a PhD in communication. Ladies, mind you, 2023, I was single. I was a single mom. I had one child. I hated men. I was none of these things. Truly, I was absolutely none of these things. I don't even know why I wrote this down. And I found this journal. We were moving house, and I found one. And when I landed at this page, I literally just like shivered at the thought of what was I writing? Because when I fully reflect now, I have done all of those things except for the PhD part, but I've done all of those things, and some of them I've done exceptionally well. Others I've just started entering into. So fast forward, if you go to the next slide for me, 2025, 2026, Simi, if you go to the next page for me, the seed now is growing into something else. 2025, my daughter and I have just launched a small little online project. We've called it Soul Speak. And it really was a collaboration between her and I. She was 16, turning 17 last year. This is now my firstborn, the one I had in 2008. She had just, been feeling very overwhelmed. She was in grade 11, stepping into her matric year this year. Her school had nominated her to become a student executive, and she was just petrified at this idea of leadership. And she had this single mindset of what a leader is, because she was looking at me and looking at my life and seeing her mom as this corporate executive on platforms, doing strategy work, going to these big meetings, meeting what feels and sometimes seems as big people when they're just humans, and running businesses. So she was feeling like, no, she can't step into this thing. And she wanted to step down and not accept the opportunity that her peers and her school had voted her to be a student executive in matric. And we were just talking about it literally over dinner. It was August last year. As a family, we just launched Soul Speak as a online business. We were selling conversation cards, which we still are. And these are little cards that you buy. They've got questions inside to help you have a meaningful conversation with the next person. And as we were talking about what she was sort of stressing about, I decided, no, man, I wanted to debunk this thing about leadership to my daughter, because it's not, I don't want her to see it only from what she sees in her mother. Leadership is everywhere. I was explaining to her, our helper who's been with us for about 7-8 years, she's a leader. She's leading 2 homes. She's leading the home back in KZN that she's managing from Johannesburg. She's literally running our house. That takes leadership. It may be in the background, it may feel invisible at times, but she is a leader. So 2027 births this thing around leading with grace. We had just lost my mother, and we were going through our own grieving process. So we just sort of dove and I dived straight into this project. I invited all these women around October, November, December last year, pitched the idea that I just want to sit down with you. I don't want to necessarily know about your achievements. I think we see the sanitized versions on LinkedIn and the stuff people post. I want to know the human story behind how you became who you are today, the setbacks, the lessons. And that's really what I'm just saying, sort of the setbacks, the lessons. That's really what I wanted to capture in the book. But I also wanted to make this book beautiful. I wanted it to be a coffee table book. I wanted women to see themselves as beautiful as they are. So I knew I needed to invest a little bit in some professional photography so that we can also see ourselves as beautiful as we truly are. So then I dive into this project. Then about 2 months ago, that email I showed you on the slide before, Knox shared it with me. I had completely forgotten about this. She shared this with me, and around that time, I had also just recently found that journal that I shared with you. I literally dropped to my knees and I cried and I prayed, because I just knew that somehow God had ordered my steps without me even realizing. I didn't realize all along that everything I was doing and everything I've done has led me back to these same wishes and nudges and dreams I had as a young person, but I didn't fully realize how. So really, the moral of my story so far that I'm sharing with you is, when you're starting and trying to define what purpose is for yourself, pay attention to the things, that you keep returning to, the things that just won't leave you and just won't leave your spirit. I'm now clear that my purpose is to uplift other women. My purpose is to help people see their wildest potential, and do it in a way that doesn't just serve them, but also serve the next person. And I'm going to explain what I mean just now. If you go to the next slide for me, Simi, I want to sort of get into the book a little bit. I've purposely called it Leading with Grace. I think I've shared with you now that I recently lost my mother about 2 years ago. And Grace was my mother. She was a social worker, a community builder, somebody who really believed that the education offered people a different opportunity and it could transform your life. And she truly understood that this could change the trajectory of your life. And because of the choices and sacrifices made by the people who came before me, can you still hear me? Sorry, I keep getting all sorts of notifications.
No, we can hear you loud and
Oh,
clear.
great.
Beautiful.
And because of the choices and sacrifices made by the people who came before me, I was given opportunities that expanded me personally before, sort of broader than my wildest, I think, wildest dreams. So this book for me is a tribute to her, but I didn't want it to only end with her. This book for me was, at the end of the day, grief has a special way of forcing you to realize what remains after you have gone. And that's really the path that I've been on. And when I link it to leadership, it's because you led and because you were there. How has that environment changed? How have the people either changed or flourished? Have they become better? And that's really where this project sort of stems from for me. So grief really has an extraordinary way of making you interrogate your entire life. It makes you ask different questions, not what have I achieved, but what will remain because I was here. And that's really the tribute part for me behind this project. And my own personal leadership team, a leadership journey, as you know, I've spent quite a couple of years in corporate. Those of you who do know me on the call, those who don't know me, I've had the privilege of really leading many different businesses, brand teams, large teams. And for many years, like many ambitious young professionals, I always used to think leadership was about my achievement. Can I perform? Can I deliver? Can I get that next promotion? Can I carry bigger responsibility? And all those things matter. But I've now realized as well that competence matters, results matter, accountability matters. And that also all becomes part of leadership. So I think one of the questions that the book also triggers the reader is what happens to people because you led them? Do they become more confident? Do they become more courageous? Do they believe more is possible for themselves? Did you create a space for someone else's voice? Did you open a door? And over time, that's now where my leadership journey is. Those are the questions I'm interrogating myself on. So I now believe that it's less about me being in the front. It's less about the spotlight on me. It's more about what starts to remain after I've left the room or after I've left the assignment of whatever role I've been placed on. I think if I sort of talk about the purpose part for me for this project, every copy of this book that we are currently launching, in fact, my big book launch is tomorrow. All of the proceeds behind this are going towards a bursary fund. Like I said, education was very important to my mother. I have been blessed with a strong foundation as well because of education. And I'm trying to find that next child that we can pay this forward to. So the proceeds behind this project go towards a bursary fund. We've called it the Grace Leadership Fellowship and registered an NPO behind it so that we can seed money into this fund to be able to educate the next generation of leaders. And really, this is a reflection point for me of it's no longer just about me, it's no longer just about my success. Yes, I've had to pour into this, but I know that with time and with a couple of years, we will see some incredible seeds and flowers bloom from this. I'm so incredibly grateful for the women who've said yes, who've partnered with me in putting this publication and putting this publication together. And Knox, thank you so much for inviting me. And for me, that's legacy. That's one of the things. I didn't just want my mother's name to live on a beautiful front cover of a coffee table. Her name will now live on, hopefully, towards some of the other young people who will get to benefit from our shared experiences and our shared learnings. So purpose doesn't have to be grand, guys. It doesn't have to be this one big moment in your life. And perhaps that's always the challenge, is that, you know, we think purpose has to be writing a book, this grand gesture I've done. No, you think it needs to be leaving your corporate life, building a movement. No, you don't. Purpose can be expressed exactly where you are. It might be that the young woman in your organization, you choose to mentor her. It might be that you mention somebody's name in a room to give them an opportunity. It might be courage to challenge something that you know isn't right. It might be creating a workplace where people feel seen. It might be teaching your own children differently. Sometimes purpose looks like one life being different just because you showed up. So the last thing I probably want to leave you with is this. So rather, you can stop sharing to me, it's okay. So the three questions I'd like to leave you with is, what keeps calling you? What idea, you know, people or group keeps nudging its way into your life? Don't dismiss it, because that could be where maybe your next business plan is, or that could be where you were born to thrive. So pay attention to that. My second question is, maybe you could put the last slide because the questions are there. What has been placed in your hands? You know, you've been given an education, you probably have certain relationships, you might have a level of influence somewhere, even your difficult experiences. Purpose often begins not where we lack, but with recognizing that we already carry so much. And then my last question that I leave you with is, who will be different because you were here? And for me, that's perhaps the most important leadership question I am constantly bringing myself back to all the time, is, with the tables I'm afforded to sit at, who and what will be different because I was here? So in closing, 23 years ago, I had simply a desire to learn from other women. I could never have imagined exactly what that idea would become. I could not have dreamed of the life and the path that life has taken me on. I couldn't have even imagined that these 32 women would share their stories with me. Half of them, I didn't even know them, I'm going to be honest. These are people who I just admired from afar. I reached out to them. They say, shoot your shot. I did exactly that. And when they understood my vision, they said yes. I couldn't have imagined carrying a book with my mother's name and spirit interwoven into it. I couldn't have imagined building this fellowship and bursary fund to help build the stories of the next generation of leaders. But perhaps I didn't need to see that whole picture. And that's the thing I'm saying to you, is that sometimes we get overwhelmed because you think the whole grand plan and strategy needs to be in place. All I simply needed to do was follow the thread, which is what I did. And now when I look back, obviously it's easier because you can see in hindsight the idea that you've clearly carried all these years, that's clearly nudged you, a problem that you just can't stop thinking about, a group of people you constantly keep feeling drawn to, a door you know you could open for somebody else. Follow that thread, ladies, because purpose is very rare to be one grand moment. It happens for others, but some of us, it takes us a long time. As Knox said, she understood it in her 20s. I am 43 years old. I've had to follow this thread for a while. It's been a series of choices, of listening, of acting, of serving, of courage. And I'm now hoping to leave behind something great. And for me, that's what it means to lead with purpose and ultimately to lead with grace. Yeah, and I think that's my story.
Oh, Wanda. Oh, Wanda. What an
Thank you, Simi, for helping me in
incredible,
the back.
what an incredible share. What a phenomenal journey of your purpose discovery. What I love the most is just you giving that, empowering all of us to also realize it won't happen the same way for each person, for every person. It's a unique journey.
Yes.
And the thread is so amazing, that the thread is about, what is it that your heart won't forget? What is it
Yo,
that your heart keeps yearning for? What is it? And when I say purpose is calling, and people always laugh at me, I'm like, will you answer the call?
yo.
Purpose is not loud. It
Yeah,
doesn't shout from the, mountaintop, I
yeah.
am your purpose. This is what you came into this world to be and how to impact others positively. It whispers softly. It
Mm,
often speaks in the silent moments where you are hurt, where you are recovering,
yeah.
like you said, the journey of grieving mom's loss, and also beginning to think, what is it that I'm taking from having lived with mom and
Yes,
shared life with her, and those lessons, and the ability to then see the leader in all of us, and we are all leaders.
absolutely.
When I read the
Absolutely.
definition of leadership, it's about moving from point A to point B and knowing how to get yourself there.
Yes.
What is the next step? What is the next vision? What is the
Yes.
next thing? And just get yourself there. You are self-leading. And
Yes.
before you know it, you are leading your children, you're leading at work, you're leading your friends, you're sharing those insights. You already trusted us at Unilever at our 28, 29 to come together to share what has been your leadership lessons. I'm like, I don't even know if we
I
met.
don't
I
know.
just and then just before you launch this book, I'm going through and I'm like, declutter bookshelves and whatever. And I'm like, why did I print this email? Why do I
Crazy.
still have a copy of this email? And I
I
find it on your birthday. And then I literally was like, my God,
like,
we can be so woo-woo sometimes. It is woo-woo. Like, it's been 22 years. I left Unilever.
oh, I cried
Email.
that day. I cried that
I
day.
don't get it. I don't get it. But God just works
Ah,
in such mysterious ways. And it is so good to see that culmination of what has been the consistent thread of your desire to want to
yes.
learn from others,
Yes.
to want to make
Yes.
others feel seen, and leading with grace. And now more and more asking yourself, what will I leave behind? And here we
Behind.
are with an
Oh,
amazing anthology. Congratulations. And if
thank
I
you so
could
much,
send all
Graceful.
the hearts and the
I
balloons
feel
and
it
the
through the
poppers.
screen.
Congratulations. One more
Thank
sleep.
you
We're
so
in
much.
Joburg tomorrow to
Yes,
celebrate.
I can't wait.
Oh, somebody just gave you
I love
hearts.
that one. I
I
love
don't know
it.
who did that. I love it. And I
And
cannot
this
wait.
purpose thing, it'll find you. I think, ladies, if any of you are like me, where it's taken a while, you cannot run away from it. You
Yeah.
can try as much as it makes you restless, and
Mm,
eventually you will answer that call.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Because this is also a celebration of Women's Day, Women's Month. You get something every half an hour. You get something. You get something, like Mama Oprah would say. So Nogwanda is gifting all of you a beautiful discount to visit the Soul Speak website and get yourself this incredible anthology, coffee table, the kind of book there you can, every chapter, every woman's story can be a conversation starter with your daughter,
Absolutely.
with your girlfriends, and learning from. Imagine the access of 32 leaders. There's some incredible women here. And then I just go, how am I going to cover with these people? And so she's given us a 15% discount online.
Yes, yes.
Lauren, please want to copy that discount so you can shop with it. And also, can you look the soulspeak.co.za?
Yeah, I don't know. So it's www
W.
soulspeaks.co.za. And
There you
obviously, they
go.
can then catch us on our socials, and all of our details are there. It's Leading with Grace SA and Soul Speaks underscore ZA. Any of those two pages, you'll find all of our details there.
Fantastic. I
Thank
cannot thank you enough. And I know that the heavens, God Himself, will continue to bless you for the
thank
work
you,
you're
my
doing.
friend.
And the prayer from me is that may you expand your area of impact. May
Uh,
you just continue to reach more hearts. And what I really love, what you've done for me, and it's the same for Laura, is being able to see the work that we've been doing for Leading with Purpose now sitting in something that is created and it lives forever. Even when I just keep quiet now, it lives somewhere. And I cannot thank you enough for that. Like, why didn't I do that? but it was your purpose. And I'm happy that I am collaborating with women leading with purpose. Siyabonga nokwanda.
Yabo.
Yeah, and all the best for the launch tomorrow. Guys, you must
Thank you
just follow
so
us on
much.
socials for all the shares
Please, so
tomorrow.
busy, busy. You gotta be busy.
It's going to be lit. It's going to be lit. So there's a code that is in our notes that it will be shared. It's bio 15. So Bloom Inside Out as a community, 15%. It's bio 15. You can just go there and get yourself a copy of this book. And it's been flying off the shelves, guys. I would say off the online shopper bag or cart
Oh, yes.
that she did. She got to tell you that already the book has
Yes.
amassed, is that the right word? Has collected two tuition fees for next year, two students.
Lalela, I
If you
can't
know the
wait.
university fee, two already tomorrow. We're going to share that. And this book has already just collected the money, the rands and cents to
I'm so
educate two
excited.
people next year. I
I'm so
can't wait to
excited.
see by the end of the year how many students are going to be at university because we said yes to your purpose. And
Thank you,
the
sis.
power of collaboration.
Thank you. Yeah,
Doing it.
right? The pie
Mm.
is big enough for all, guys.
We can all live our purpose
And
and
all
not
live.
compete
Yes.
and not be hating and
Yes.
just amplify each other's work. And without further delay, we are
Yes.
7 minutes away from me introducing. We're like 7 minutes past one. I was supposed to say, and now, hailing from Cape Town, the beauty in the house, Laura Thomas. Now, people would often, you meet someone. Laura, we only met this year. It feels like you've been
Mm.
my girlfriend for years, for 5 years, if not 10 years. That's insane. And then
Mm.
somebody asked me, so how did you end up in that book alongside? I'm like, it's the brand. The brand speaks for you in rooms where you are not. And when we say build your brand on purpose, Mina, I preach that. And when we do Bloom master classes, build your brand on purpose because it serves others. I didn't know, Laura. Other leaders that I've interacted with, that I've done amazing things with in this journey of Bloom Inside Out and leading with purpose, recommend me to Laura. Who is Laura? Laura has founded an award-winning marketing agency and that she's run for 13 years. She's founded Aligned Women, the company, the Aligned Women Co. And the Aligned Women podcast, where you might have seen snippets of me using my ability to speak. Still got to get used to that one. She founded the Aligned Woman Blueprint, which she'll talk to us about here, and you are in for a treat. She's a published leadership author, and a whole lot of others. She's a former chairperson of 30% Club Southern Africa, a degree in brand communication, a certified NLP practitioner, and she is blooming and leading in her era of alignment. Laura, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Knox, and Wanda. What a story, and what a story to have to follow.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
thank you so much, and thank you for the introduction, Knox. And yeah, the power of just community and also just networking. And I think, how important that message is, helping each other.
Yeah.
So, as Noxa said, my name is Laura, and I'm the founder of the Aligned Women Co. And from the name, you can probably already tell what I'm passionate about, and that is alignment, but true alignment of your internal and your external world. But I want to start by telling you about a woman I know very well. She was 33 years old. She had built and run an award-winning multi-seven-figure marketing agency for over a decade. She had consulted to some of the largest brands in the world. She had chaired organizations, been published, been quoted, been on stage. She had hit all the sporting goals that she had ever dreamed of in her 20s. She was married. She had ticked every single box she had been told she needed to tick. 4 years later, she was sitting in a Pilates class she had forced herself to go to, thinking about how she did not want to be part of this world anymore. How the thoughts in her mind were telling her there was no point in going on. And that woman was me. So, for 15 years of my professional journey, I chased a version of myself that wasn't really real. I chased validation, I chased the material, I chased a version of myself that I'd been told I should be. And I'd really convinced myself that if I would just become her, I would finally be happy. And for a while, it honestly did work. I built this huge business from scratch with no funding. By 33, I had this sizable team and major clients. And I remember thinking, well, here I am, I've made it. But no one, but the body doesn't care about your success. And before I go on, I just want to be clear about something because I think this is the part that people get wrong. There's nothing wrong with wanting any of those things, the house, the business, the recognition, the relationship. None of that is the problem. The problem is when your worth and your happiness become completely tied to it. Because then when something fails, when you lose a client or you lose a relationship, your whole world falls apart. Not part of your world, your whole world, because it is your world at the time. So around that time, life unraveled in ways I couldn't control. I went through a divorce. I lost my godmother to cancer, who was also my mentor. And I lost my oldest friend to suicide. And my father had a heart attack. So grief stacked on grief. But did I slow down? Absolutely not. I worked harder because my identity was fused in my performance. So if I'm not achieving, who am I? Work was not just what I did, it was who I was. And in a world where women are still fighting to be taken seriously, slowing down really felt dangerous to me. So I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. And slowly at first, things started to shift. I couldn't focus anymore. I was exhausted. I couldn't sleep. Tired and wired became my baseline. I lived on caffeine and adrenaline. And the harder it got, the harder I tried. So my body was literally screaming at me for years, and I completely ignored it. And it was not until it shut down completely that I had no choice but to listen. And the day that I got my blood results back, my doctor was absolutely horrified. She couldn't understand how I was functioning. There I am reading these blood tests while I was coming out of a heated HIIT class. And that really is the power of willpower. It can override biology for a little while, but not forever. So I was in complete full-blown burnout. My hormones were depleted. My nervous system was dysregulated. My cortisol was through the floor. There was a long list of markers that I'd literally never heard of in my life. And that was the start of a very long and very, very difficult road to figure out what was wrong with me. Earlier that year, I had also decided it was a great time to come off my SSRIs, so that's anti-anxiety medication. But what I didn't realize is that SSRIs mask burnout. So the moment I stopped taking them, the fall was already coming. I was like a ticking time bomb. And because my body could not function properly, I started to struggle to concentrate. So I was given ADHD medication, which sent me into a severe depression, which is how I ended up in that Pilates class, having those thoughts that were not mine about a life I didn't want to be in anymore. I was just thinking to myself, this is not who I am, and this is definitely not who I want to be. So I took the hard decision to stop working, although quite honestly, I didn't really have a choice. And for the next year, I stopped everything. And it was honestly the most terrifying thing I've ever done. I spent hundreds of thousands on therapists, doctors, functional medicine specialists, spiritual inquiry, holistic practitioners. I read obsessively. I learned about stress psychology, nervous system regulation, trauma. hormonal health, grief, identity formation. And what floored me was not how sick I had become. It was how much I had never been taught and how hard it was to get the help I so desperately needed. No one had ever explained to me what chronic stress does to a female body. No one had taught me how ambition interacts with cortisol. No one had spoken to me about identity collapse when achievement becomes your only mirror. No one had warned me that building a business off a blueprint designed for men might eventually cost me my health. And I have to acknowledge my privilege here. I went to an excellent girls' school. I have a loving family. I have a degree. I'm well resourced. I'm curious. I had access to information. So if someone like me could end up in that chair, what is happening to women who do not have any of that? And this is what I landed on. And it's the single sentence that everything I've built since sits on. Women are not lacking ambition. We are lacking internal literacy. Internal literacy is the ability to read your own operating system. So to understand your nervous system as well as you understand your revenue model, to recognize burnout before it becomes collapse, to separate your worth from your output. Our education system prepares women to perform, but it does not prepare us to sustain. So we're taught to push harder, compete louder, separate emotion from decision making, work through the pain. And that model works right up until it doesn't, because it's not made for women, it's made for men. So this is the part of my story I think is actually the most useful to you because it's the part almost nobody talks about. It's the scariest thing about that year was not that I had become so sick. It was actually two things. First is that I had no idea how to name what was actually happening to me. I had no language for it. And you can't solve a problem you cannot name. The second one is that once I finally had a name for it, I had no idea where to start. I was handed 100 possible answers and no order to put them in. Nutrition, therapy, hormones, breathwork, coaching, medication, movement, boundaries. All of it is valid, but none of it is sequence. So I did what any desperate person would do. I just bought all of it, but in the wrong order from people I couldn't verify. And I got informed without getting better, and I spent money without getting better. So that's the actual gap. It's not a lack of information. We are drowning in information. It's the absence of a system that tells a woman what is happening to her, what to do first, and who is safe to send her to. So I built a company around the things that I could not find. And that is the Aligned Woman Co. So women have been given fragmented answers to deeply interconnected problems. The Aligned Woman Co. is a trusted ecosystem designed to help women understand themselves more deeply and consciously shape the lives around them. This is through diagnostics, communities, verified practitioners, events, and personal guidance. We help women understand what is happening within them and what to do next. So I would like to share my screen in a bit, but what I wanted to chat to you first about was the verified practitioners. So I told you that I spent thousands that year I was off when I was ill on practitioners. And some of them changed my life, but some of them took my money and gave me very little. And I couldn't tell the difference before I paid. So the bad advice and the wrong medication I was given nearly sent me to an early grave. And I really don't say that lightly. It took me 6 doctors before I found the one who could actually help me with my hormones. 6. So many other coaches and that practitioners I came across simply were not equipped to qualify or qualified to be giving advice. You know, women are being asked to assess credentials they were never trained to assess in a largely unregulated industry at the exact moment, usually when you're least able to make a good decision. And that's not a personal failure, that's a market failure. So I built the Aligned Woman Standard as the directory that sits on all of this, and it's called AW Verified. So it's a verification badge that you can't buy. You have to go through a qualification review. So registration checks with the professional bodies where they exist, a personal interview, written ethical commitments, and annual renewal. So if you're a practitioner listening today, this is an open invitation to you to come and get verified. So women who need help can actually find you. The platform itself has courses on it and a lot of free tools that you can access as well. But the main course that I want to chat to you today and what Knox was involved in is the Aligned Women Blueprint. So, women don't have a blueprint for how to succeed in this world that really was not built for us. So, I decided to build the blueprint. And the Aligned Women Blueprint is now our flagship program, and it answers the question I asked myself in that year off. It's made up of the teachings of 13 credentialed international specialists from across the world, all of them experts in their field, all of them working in it and not just commenting on it. If you wanted to sit with all 13 of them privately, it would cost you 116,000 Rand. And the blueprint is only 3,997 Rand. And we're giving you a 20% discount today as well, which I'll speak about at the end. But the price is really not what makes it different. And I want to be honest with you about it because a cheaper version of the wrong thing is still the wrong thing. What makes it different is the order. So I had access to almost all of this information during my collapse. I had specialists, I had money, I had time, and I still got worse because no one sequenced it for me. I was doing identity work while my cortisol was on the floor. I was setting goals from the inside, the exact pattern that had broken me. So information is not the scarce resource, sequencing is. So I built the Alive method, and every module in the program is placed inside it deliberately. So A stands for awareness, because you cannot change what you cannot see. This is where you find out how you are actually operating, not how you think you are. L stands for liberation, so releasing what is not yours. The inherited beliefs, the borrowed standards, the version of you that was built to keep others comfortable. I is for intentional action, doing deliberately. This is where behavior actually changes and it comes third for a reason. V stands for vision, so deciding what you are building towards now that you can see clearly. Most women set goals from inside the old pattern and then wonder why achieving them changes nothing. And then we move on to embodiment. So living it out on a normal Tuesday, not on a retreat, not in ideal conditions, in your actual life under stress. So the sequence matters as much as the content. Every single one of us has tried to do this out of order. Intentional action without awareness is like a gym membership in January. It's quitting the job before you understand why you're exhausted. It's me at 33 doing a HIIT class while reading my own blood results. The blueprint is one product inside the system. It's not the whole company, but it's definitely the deepest expression of it. So I want to leave you with this. The next evolution of women's empowerment is not just access to power, it's the ability to hold it without abandoning yourself in the process. And I'd really, really love for you to have a look at the Aligned Women Blueprint. And I'm going to share my screen quickly so I can just show you what the platform looks like. Okay, so I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, we can see it, Laura.
Fantastic. This is what the dashboard looks like once you've registered. It's completely free. You can see here that I've already logged in. This is where you would go and find out what your pattern is. And it is a series of 12 questions. That's a diagnostic. And this has been built from international experts from around the world. So I would highly recommend that you take it. The Aligned Woman Blueprint is within the classroom, and there's going to be other courses that are going to be added from verified practitioners here soon. So you can see here we've got the live method. And what makes this different as well is that we have a integration part of every single masterclass that these women have given you. So over here, we have one on subconscious programming and thinking patterns by Dr. Wendy Mahoney. And she talks you through this in her masterclass, and then you can actually go and do this integration afterwards. And this really helps you integrate the information, which is something that is missing from a lot of courses that are out there at the moment. So if we go back to the dashboard, you can then see that if you go to the directory, you can then go and search for people that you are needing help with that have been verified already. And you can go and you can see Knox is there. And if you wanted to chat with Knox directly, then you would send her a message. And then you would find that there's a lot more other women there that, again, are all verified. So it's really, really important that, you know, we have access to women that are verified and you know that are going to help you. If you would like to be a practitioner, an AW verified practitioner, you can also apply to be an AW verified practitioner. And this is a way to also help other women get more business. So this is certainly something that we will share with you afterwards. And for the first 20 women that sign up to the Aligned Women Blueprint, not only do you get 20% off the course itself, but you also get discounts on, ironically, the company that's giving the discount on the vitamins specifically for women is called Bloom. So you'll get vouchers to Bloom vitamins.
We are laughing at that.
I know, Bloom vitamins, as well as some luxury, beautiful loungewear. There's also the vouchers for Skin Med we're giving away. So there's quite a few things that you'll be able to get if you are one of the first 20 people to sign up to the Aligned Women Blueprint with that 20% discount as well. And the code for that is purpose. But we will send you all of that information afterwards. Am I on time, Knox? I was trying to get through it.
You are so spot on. You are like on time for us
Oh,
to then
really?
start the
I was
amazing
watching the time.
giveaways. But before we go to the giveaways, boss ladies, I'm so excited for you because we've got just a whole goodie bag for you. One of the goodie bags is a 2,000 Rand ticket to the Bloom Inside Out Bio Summit that's happening on the 30th of October this year. And there's news that I'm going to reveal just now around that and who our headline sponsor this year is, and just elevates the entire experience. But before we go into a whole lot of giveaways, and I've also got a discount, which is early bird for those tickets for you, which I'll share again just now on screen. I'd like Wanda to come back on screen and we can take a few questions, and then only maybe at 1:45, we can start dishing the goodies and the giveaways and the prizes and the lucky draw. Yeah, so it's time to get into the questions and answers. And if you have a question, boss ladies, for any of our speakers or myself, you simply have to raise a hand and I will call your name. Open your mic or and your in your screen. If you open your video, you will join us literally on stage to ask your question. So we'll take 2 or 3 questions to the ladies. Any areas of you want clarity, any words that you want to share with them. 2 or 3 ladies, if you just raise your hand now, it will be an opportunity for you to jump on stage with us. And yeah, you have the floor. See, nobody's raising hands. I thought they'll be like, everyone fighting for hands. Let me see where their hands are at. Questions? Questions before I share. I still see there's more ladies coming into the room. I think sometimes they get dropped and then they want to come back into the room. The one thing I'd like to obviously quickly declare and share, we've got everyone's name and registration of everyone who's in the room. Because we have not been able to open your video, please, Sine. You've not been able to attach the actual documents. We're going to be emailing the documents to all of you. And that will make sure that everybody has access to it together with the profile of Bloom Inside Out. So you have ways of how you can connect with us. So do not despair. We see everyone who's in the room. We've got the registrations as well. Sine, please open your mic and you can ask a question. Sine Nhlanhla? Okay, let's try and make her a co-host, see if she's able to speak. Sine? Okay, trying here.
Hi, I'm struggling a bit with my video.
Don't worry, we can hear your voice.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I just have a question, maybe for Wanda or any one of the ladies that can help. So I think I did post on the chat that I've been struggling for a while to kind of figure out what my purpose is. Because I've been in corporate for about 12 years, ironically in Unilever. And it's always been hammered that you need to discover your purpose. We've had purpose workshops.
Yeah.
And for me, all I have been maybe taught while I was in Unilever that my purpose needs to align with corporate. And now that I'm out of corporate, I'm trying to see if is purpose only aligned to corporate? If then out of corporate, can purpose still exist? And how do I then align or figure that out to say, what is my purpose outside corporate? Do I need to go back to corporate to be a leader with purpose? And yeah, I think that's just my question around purpose in general.
Can I try to
Great.
take that, Knox?
Wanda, please take it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So I'm gonna answer it from my perspective, and it's not to say my perspective is gospel, but this is my lived truth, right? I don't necessarily believe your purpose is linked to your corporate role. I think for some people it can be, and that's great when maybe you do find that sweet spot. But for me, that hasn't been the case. Do I love my job? Yes. Do I apply myself in my job? Yes. And this is my corporate job. Does it pay my bills and help me run my livelihood? Yes. But is it the thing that stirs in my soul, that fills my cup, like at the deepest parts of me? No. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that I give less of myself when I check into my 9 to 5. I give them what they have paid me to do. It's a contract, it's an employment contract. And I serve the organization and I represent the organization and I deliver on the strategy of what I've been hired to do. But then I've found other things in my life that make me happy. And I believe that those things can coexist, but it does take time. It does take of your time. I think I shared a little bit earlier. I love to create. I was sharing on my statuses the other day, encouraging people, like, just find a hobby, man. Like, do some, fill yourself with things that make you happy, you know? I love to make candles. It drives my family crazy. My kitchen always smells like some perfume or the other every other day. I make candles, I make soaps. I have now gone on this crazy journey of writing a book. I'm not an author. I'm not a literary English scholar. I'm not a photographer. Yes, I've then worked with people who've helped me make this thing come together. So I think what I'm saying to you is I don't think that your corporate job has to be your purpose. It can serve a purpose to help you live your life, put food on the table. And when you're in it, apply yourself fully. You have been hired to do a job, you have an employment contract. Give them the skills that they're paying for and give it to the max. Be excellent, right? Be excellent, because you don't know what that opportunity will open you up to in the future. But don't then abandon your heart's desires. So I know sometimes people think I'm crazy, and maybe they think I live a double life or a triple life, but I'm okay with it. Sometimes not sometimes, I don't think my purpose sometimes needs to make sense to everybody. It's not a conference call, it's my life. We don't all have to agree and kumbaya around my personal decisions in life. I do these things because they make me happy and they fulfill me. And sometimes they work, sometimes they require me to invest money and I lose money. But when I've lost it, I'm not crying over it because it made me happy to do it. So, Sinead, I'd say to you, it doesn't have to be the same thing. If it is, it's great. It doesn't happen for everybody. It doesn't have to be the same thing.
That's brilliant, Wanda. Laura,
Thank you.
do you have any add-ons before I do?
Thanks, Knox. It definitely doesn't have to be your work, but I think it's something that can drive it. And a big thing that I've found, especially when people are wanting to find their purpose, and it's they feel guilty for being in corporate and making money. And they feel like they can't separate the two. And I want to tell you that there's absolutely the universe, God wants you to have all the wealth, wants you to have all the abundance, wants you to be able to give back. And you cannot give back if you do not have money. You can give back with your time. Absolutely, that's free. But when there's the stress of money all the time, you can't be acting from your highest self when you have so much stress in your body and in yourself. So, I think that's my first thing that I always want to say to women is go and make that money, go to corporate, get that cash, and then use that for the greater good. Use it to pay it forward. And don't be guilty about it. And your purpose is something that sets your soul on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen Riksha's hand. Dr. Toli, I think your hand is down because I don't see you on screen. So before I go to Riksha, I was gonna call Dr. Toli. So to our boss lady who's inquiring about her purpose, there was something that I had prepared I didn't share in the beginning. When you do the purpose audit, and when we do share, obviously, the template that we've got that will guide you on the first few steps of you discovering your purpose. There's 4 questions that becomes almost like a cross section. It's the first question is, what am I good at? What am I good at? And that's, sometimes it might start from what are my strengths and some of your natural giftings, but what are you good at? We could both be in marketing, but we all have different areas where we call our zone of genius. The areas that everyone was just like exceptional. You were exceptionally good at that. You are brilliant with people. You're brilliant with networking. You're brilliant with connecting. That will actually be one of the starting point. And then the second question is, what do I care about so deeply that it actually gives me, it almost like keeps me awake at night, that women should not be secondary citizens in this world. Women should not be battling to make ends meet in this world when we have the potential within us. Our responsibility for those who can, as we journey together, is to help women identify that potential and really turn that potential to prosperity. And there's many other master classes that I've shared that actually can help with that journey. The first one, obviously, being in Aligned Women Blueprint will also guide you. That course will guide you in there. The
Also,
third
Knox,
question, the
Knox,
third question,
also,
are you
sorry
losing
to
me?
interrupt. Sorry to interrupt you. Just saying, with the Aligned Women Blueprints, there's also the integration manual with it for what you have contributed. So all of these questions are all in that integration module for everybody to learn from, which I think is absolutely incredible. So they can integrate your teachings of purpose so much more easily.
And then the things, so what am I good at? What do I care about deeply? Who do I feel I'm called to serve? And some people would say women, like I say women. And yes, youth and women, because there's youth in business, women in corporate, youth in communities. But I'm not really in the youth in communities as such so somebody else might say it's youth. My heart burns and cries out for youth that is just left on a ledge and they don't know what to do with themselves and their lives. And the fourth one is what problem am I uniquely positioned to solve? With my lived experiences, with my corporate experience, with my qualification, with my natural giftings, and the things that I care about, what am I uniquely then able to solve and serve someone and make a difference in someone else's life? It doesn't become purpose until someone else is impacted positively. So it starts with being a passion. Somebody just asked, what's the difference between a passion and a purpose? You start doing the things you love. The things you love will actually lead you to that purpose. Because while doing the things that you love, you're going to do it for other people. You're going to do it with other people. And the people will then say, you are incredibly amazing. You've transformed my life. You've given me that light. You actually made me think deeper about. It's the feedback that comes back that becomes purpose. It's not the act of what we are doing. The passion is the stepping stones that take us to the purpose. When that passion is of service to someone, when that passion infuses light in someone, when that passion makes someone reflect about their lives, what am I here to do then? You know, it's creating a shift, and a shift that is positive and a shift that is impactful. And that's when it becomes purpose. How you lit another candle, someone else's candle, how you help someone else recover, how you help someone push through a problem that you had solved. You recovered from, a divorce. You meet someone who's in it. They're not through. You are through. You get to share what helped you journey through and helped you heal. And that woman then comes back and say, oh my, I'm so grateful that I met Laura. And in her story, I was able to just find one nugget, second nugget, third nugget, and my life has changed. So I hope that answers. Dr. Toli, a quick one so that we can start on giveaways. Please open your mic.
I had already put my hand down, and because you had acknowledged me, so I had to come back. And I guess you said it well. Until somebody is impacted, then it's a hobby or it's a passion. And so at this point, I'm literally, I don't know. So I was actually thinking with everything that's happening, and I think that's what holds us back is that how do you balance everything? You want to be this living for purpose, and also what Laura just said, bills need to be paid. I think no one that just said that bills have to be paid as well. So what do you become and what do you do? And I think the typical example is that I'm walking in between wards with my iPad on and everyone catching on what's happening, and I'm telling them this is what's happening. No, I'm actually having a loud, and every woman that's next to me, I'm saying, let's listen, this is what's happening. So, but at the same time, what that means then is there is that, bills needs to be paid, which means I need to be at work. At the same time, I need to be impacted by this wonderful talk. So it's all of this happening at once. And I just want to say to you ladies, thank you so much for these. And I think what holds us back as women as well is that I know what Knox is going to say. I know what leading women is going to say. Why are we hanging? Like, why do I need to connect? And we don't connect. But sometimes there's just one thing that is going to be said that's going to speak to your soul, just like Leading with Grace. And now reading that book, and now I've just been seeing this Leading with Grace and Grace. And now that you said it's her mom's name, Grace, now it hits differently. And every time I look at it, I'm going to be thinking what my mom's name is going to be, where is it going to be, what is going to be mentioned for, what am I representing for that queen in my life. So I guess maybe that's why I needed to connect. And I just want to say well done to every woman that's connected here. And we are living on purpose. We just need that there is an opportunity and the time for that to happen. And let's hang in there and pay the bills.
Amazing. And that, in summary, is do not disregard yourself. Do not disregard your passions, your interests, the things that are calling your soul. In the midst of the busyness, the work, we still make room to do the things that just lights us up. Just pouring into other women, just being there to share something that you know might change someone else's life. And however you do that, and you will know given your life experience and your lived experience. Boss Lady Ruksha, you had a hand.
Hi, Knox. Yes, I did, but I think you sort of answered most of it. I also
Okay.
just want to say it's so funny how there's always these alignments whenever we come to any of your conferences or summits. There's always so much of alignment. I mean, I was also born in Pietermaritzburg. I also worked at Unilever in corporate. So, Wanda, I think you must have been coming in as I was also leaving after having my son.
I
So
love
Knox and I
it.
also connected then and stayed and somehow stayed connected. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, ladies, I just want to say thank you so much for all that you've done. I mean, there's so much of this work that I wish we knew sooner. I wish when
Mm.
we were younger mothers that we knew
Ah,
now what we know now. Hey, if we had that blueprint, Laura, if we had that blueprint then, if only, you
yeah.
know. But I think my question, but I think Knox, you kind of answered it, is, what comes first? Is it the courage to just get out and do it, or is it the confidence?
Hmm.
I think I sometimes stall because I'm just not 100% confident that this is the right sort of commercial business idea. I mean, I have, and the other thing I wanted to say as well, because I think there's a lot of communicators in the room. When you kind of have a general purpose, like communicating, and Knox, I'm sure you'll have advice here. When it's something like you're a natural born communicator, or you, like, I know I love engaging with people, like really deeply connecting and engaging. But it's hard to sometimes know then, how does that translate into a proper purpose that can be commercial in some way?
Hmm.
think that's for
Very
you,
interesting.
Knox.
Wanda,
If I could
that's for
do.
me, Knox.
But I'm going to
So,
take
so,
a small step first, because
mm.
first part of your
Okay.
question was, what comes first, courage or confidence?
Yeah.
Probably my answer would be, you need to start taking the steps even when you haven't got the confidence, because the confidence will come as you start taking the steps. But I think, Knox, you may be a lot more skilled in this, being a communicator, to help you with this question. But that's just my gut instinct, is just take the step and the confidence comes. Yeah.
I think that's exactly it. Give yourself the grace to fail through it in your
Oh,
discovery.
Mm.
So the Leading with Grace, it's just been an amazing reflective, also enlightening for me to see women showing grace in failure, grace in grief, grace in leadership in corporate, grace in every area of of our lives, basically. And I say give yourself grace because the revelation, like Wanda is saying, every step lights the next step. Every step lights the next step. Bloom Inside Out didn't start like this. Simi was in the journey with me. Busi was in the journey. Lauren probably came later. But they'll tell you, it didn't look like it looked now. But we didn't do it to make money. My understanding is that where there's a vision, there's provision. So if God gave you the vision, there's definitely a provision that you cannot doubt, but you've got to show up. It won't happen. There's no purpose without action. You've got to be in it. You've got to show up. You've got to do it. You've got to keep at it. It's been almost 11, if not 12 years. And the reveal and the revelation I'm about to share with you, we're also pinching ourselves because we're thinking, did we really just secure that as our headline sponsor for Bio Summit? For 4 or 5 years, we did it and made a loss. We didn't say it's a loss. We said it's Bloom's investment in other women. Where the monies and the rents and cents of tickets don't add up to what you've experienced, it's our investment into other women, and it was our gift, and we never held it back. And so it goes back to again saying, is purpose supposed to be commercialized? I say yes, there's got to be provision for you to reach others more, to amplify the work. We live in the world where money makes it, or what do we say? Money makes it? Money? Money makes the world go round. So the money is the tool and the money is there. And if you approach your purpose work and then you're worried that the money is not there, it won't be there because the money is energy and it actually feels you. It feels your energy saying, I'm in a nyasab, I'm just scared. I don't know. I don't know. And the money says, I also don't know. All you can do is create the vessels to collect the money. This was the vessel that collected the 2 tuitions. The 100,000 didn't exist until this thing. We all put it together and we sold the books. You have to create the vessel to hold the money. The money goes where there is intentionality of purpose. I'm going to do the money, do this with the money. Okay. It's going to become church. I want to enjoy Friday afternoon lunch. Yes, Laura.
I love that, Knox. Thank you. I had a very interesting conversation yesterday, and it was around the illusion of control. And we want to try and control things. We want to try and say, I'm going to try and do these things so I can make sure that it works. I'm going to try and do all these things so I don't fail. And then we get fear around it. And it's something that really put it into a different perspective for me. There's a book called Letters from God, and very, very interesting, quite controversial. But one of the things he says in that is, if you believe that this is your purpose and you believe fully that you are protected in what you do going forward, you should not have any fear. So when you do have fear, it means that you do not trust in God. But do you trust in God? Yes, I do. So therefore, I do not have fear. And that illusion of control and fear, they're so interlinked.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That was my preach for Friday. Okay.
Yeah, I meant to check the chats before I do the reveal. And I want to also just thank every boss lady who invested I love the hearts, who invested their lunchtime, the 2 hours for us to collectively be in this room and really speak about the matters of our soul, our inner being, and who we truly are, and helping each other to show up in our authentic self and know there's no one who can do what you came here to do. It's what Laura just said. No one came to do what you came here to do. So say yes quicker. Have a sense of urgency because you came to do that thing. We are waiting. The sense of urgency. Because before you know it, the clock be like, let's go back home, right? Let's get on with it and just do the things that God has called us to do. And that's it. You're not gonna crash and die because the first launch didn't work. We're gonna refine. You get data and we keep getting back. I mean, where's the vanity, black vanity, Wanda? You couldn't even find the logo.
God, I couldn't even find the logo.
You tried it and it gone, and this one came and worked. And we've tried so many things, and some of them are still not working the way we envisioned them to work. But we are here. We are showing up every day. Show up, ladies, and show up in your passions. And before you know it, it will be purpose in someone else's life. And so, without further delay, okay, the first thing. I'm excited to share that our Bio Summit this year, I don't know if the video will actually do the thing that it's meant to do, but let me share it. I'm not sharing right. Okay, let's see. I'm not sharing right. Let me try it again. Okay. Do you all see it? Thumbs up if you see it. No, I haven't played it yet, but you're already seeing it. So this year's headline sponsor, we've been lobbying for almost a year for this bank to say yes to partner with us and open up the Bao Summit to as many women as possible, and for us to really get the thumbs up from the bank that says, how can we help? And they're saying help changes everything. We are truly, truly honored and grateful that the Leading with Purpose is evolving to the summit. Now, if you've been in the summit, you will know that we have Power Women Awards. The Power Women Awards are not just awards on success. Yes, the success stories we're reading, you launch something successfully. The Power Women Awards are for women who are leading with purpose, are for women who are doing something phenomenal that even though it is commercialized, it is still impacting an industry, it's impacting a community, it's impacting a group of people. It is really just making a difference in people's lives. And on Monday, we are opening the nominations. So, ladies, if you know you are doing something that is impacting someone's life positively, and you want to give it a stab for you to be recognized and to be celebrated for the purpose work that you're doing, go for it. Nominate yourself. On Monday, it will be on our social media with the links, and the nominations will open. And you can see that these wonderful two ladies are going into those nominations because Mina, I'm going to nominate them. Whether they know it or not, they are going in. Because how is it? I'm so impressed with just how far this book is going to go, the legacy, the education, the women that have got a central nervous system that is just like, whew, at peace. I see Dr. Sibu is in and she has a hand. So happy. And then with that, we've got a 25%. 25%, Simi? With that, we have a 25% for your tickets for everyone who was here. It's live as we speak on Quicket, and we've gone directly to just reduce that ticket by 25% live. It will be live like that at that reduced rate until the 1st of September. So get your tickets, ladies, at the end of this month end of this month. And let's go and really convene together at the head office of FNB Umhlanga, top floor, 200 women. It is going to be something out of this world. We're going to be talking all things showing up in your full human being in the world of AI. Last year we were like, let's use some AI. I love how Laura is just dancing. I love how Laura is just dancing. And so, yeah, we've got 25% for everyone. And then on social media, we then I've posted probably twice or three times about today's webinar. And I said, if you share and you tag a woman, you invite a woman, but it was also on Instagram. So we've gone and taken everyone's name that's shared on Instagram. And we've put them onto a lucky draw. It's not biased. You will see that we actually use an app that spins the wheel, and all the ladies that shared and they're here in the room, they will obviously see that their names were in there. And so the winner of the Bio Summit 2026 full ticket paid for is, let me look. I should be getting drums now. Give me the drums. It should be and is. Oh, you are so funny, guys. You're so funny. You can tell I've got a whole lot of boss ladies around me in the office and they are banging the table. And this is our winner, Silindile Shengwa. You walk away with a full ticket, fully paid for. And obviously, if you're in Durban, even easier. Guys, give me the poo, 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 poo. Give me the balloons and all the hearts for this wonderful lady who's going to walk away with this ticket. And it's a beautiful gift from us to you, and just making sure that you are in the room as we equip each other for 2027, as we celebrate what our strides have done and we have achieved in 2026, as we celebrate women of impact, and we equip ourselves, and collectively and together we're going to just celebrate until the end of that day. It is a Friday, so I would say right now, tell them I'm on leave on the 30th of October in the office, and I'm going to be with my sisters, the tribe of women who are doing incredibly amazing things. And yeah, so that is the exciting part. But you get a 25% off. You all get you get a ticket 25% less. Every single one of you. And so I see there's a simmer hand out. It's Ashley. It is. She's Lee, I know. Okay, so
Breathe. Oh my God. Is it me?
yes,
Simasilindile Hlengwa.
Sima Lindile. Sima, you won. Congratulations, sweetheart. I saw you sharing. The
Oh
voice
my
is not coming
goodness.
in.
Thank you so much.
It's only a pleasure. And because you opened the circle wider, you invited boss ladies to be in this room, you shared
Oh
with them. And yeah, there's a gift there for you. And this
thank
is
you
all
so much. And
we
I've
can
been to
ever
the
do.
summit before. It's an amazing event. And oh my God, thank you
Yes,
so
yes.
much.
That is incredible. That is incredible. So, boss ladies, I saw one hand other than Sima, and congratulations, Sima. Did Dr. Sibu have a hand? Yeah? Dr. Sibu? On our
It
nervous
was an
system.
accidental hand raise, sorry.
I thought you
But
felt
wow,
the
that was a
nervous system. Oh.
beautiful lunch meeting. Thank you so much for putting it together. Yeah, I've gained so much.
Oh.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. So, ladies, as we close, today wasn't just a webinar, it was an invitation for us to live with our nervous system aligned, aligned with our external world, aligning with our internal world. It was a way for us to remember that we got to walk and tread this world with grace, grace for ourselves, grace for everyone around us, grace. I define grace as leading with purpose also because I said, if you know that every person that you meet is on a journey of their purpose and fully realizing who God created them to be and what they came in this world to do, you will ask yourself, what is my role in her journey? Am I here to cheer her because she's already deployed her purpose? Am I here to say, hey, there is a webinar that is happening about purpose and mine is just to share? Am I here to help in the development? Am I here to recommend? Am I here to collaborate with her? What it is, you just got to ask yourself, be intentional that every person that you meet, they are here to deliver something special in this world that only they can do. And if you can just listen for a moment, what is their story? What is their message for this world? Where is their impact area? And if they're still on the journey of discovery, we send them to Aligned Women. If they're in the journey of discovery, they come to Leading with Purpose. If they are in the corporate space and they are working women and they feel like, oh, the world is rough, good rough out there, just remembering to be kind, to be gracious, to show up and acknowledge every person matter because every person is holding something golden within them and they are here to deliver it because the world needs it. And it makes us respect even the cleaner. It makes us respect the bus driver. It makes us respect the taxi driver. Everyone is in a certain journey of their purpose and they're here to serve and impact other people. And ours is to make sure that we lead with grace in those moments. So, leadership, I love how you said it. Leadership doesn't begin when somebody gives you a title. It begins when you decide to take the responsibility for your influence, the responsibility for your life, the responsibility to land this message that we came here to deliver in this world. And purpose doesn't mean having everything figured out. Sometimes purpose simply means having the courage to take the next aligned step. That's it. Just like what Wanda said, take the next step, take the next step. So whether your next step is joining the Aligned Women community or picking up Leading with Grace online and soaking in all the stories of leadership from cleaners, maids, helpers to top chief executive officers, they're all in here. CIO, chief investment officer, 32 incredible women, phenomenal women. I invite you all to keep going. I invite you all to align, to lead with grace, and to keep blooming in purpose, in your purpose. And so, with that, at 4 minutes past 2, trying to respect your time, thank you for blooming with all of us today. May you continue to bloom in your area of influence. May we continue this conversation on social media by sharing our insights and tags and takeaway and tagging all the three Aligned Women Leading with Grace page, Bloom Inside Out page. May we continue this conversation and celebration at the Bio Summit as we join together on the 30th of September. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And that's it. You can open your mics, ladies. And that's it. And that's it for the
Thank you
day.
so much, boss
Thank
ladies.
Well
you.
done, everyone.
Thank you so
Everyone.
much. Well
We're
done,
so
and happy
full.
birthday
Thank
month,
you.
boss lady.
Happy birthday month, and that's why we gifted this to everyone. It's still my birth month and our
Much
women's month.
appreciated. It's a big one. Thank you for gifting us.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you,
so much. And Simi,
ladies.
don't get tired of reminding us. Thank
I
you.
know.